Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everyone. So as usual, we will start our class with the opening prayer. Can I have GB3105 for opening prayer? Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. If you can please read the verse and then I'll change the slide.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Rabbi zidni ilma. Oh my Lord, increase me in knowledge. Taha 150.
Jazakallah jaza. So this prayer, it's from the Holy Quran, chapter Taha, verse 115. I'll quickly remind everyone about our class etiquettes. So please make sure that you've done wuzu. Your clothes should be clean and your head should be covered throughout the entire class with a scarf or a cap. Make sure you're sitting in a quiet place, especially when you get a turn on the mic. Okay, if there is background noise, then we don't have a choice but to mute you, so you'll miss your turn. Okay, so please make sure you're sitting in a quiet place. We do hope that a parent or an older sibling is sitting with you so that they can help you if you need any help. Lastly, make sure that you have joined the class with the correct ID. This is very important so that we can send you to your correct breakout room. So in today's class, we are going to practice the rule of Hamza Sakin. It was covered in yesterday's class as well, so it's just a revision today. And then once we've recapped the rule of Hamza Sakin, we are going to look at some examples from the Quranic text, which is part of this term's syllabus as well. After that, we will go to the breakout rooms where you will practice Surah Al-An'am, verse 99 to 102 with your breakout room teachers. And after the class, once we've done the concluding dua, make sure to practice Surah Al-An'am, verse 103 to verse 110. Later on at night, you have to practice verse 103 to verse 110. Straight after the class, you have to practice verse 99 to 102. Sorry for the mistake. So these are the verses which will be covered in the breakout room as well. But not all students get a chance to come on the mic. So you have to make sure that you practice those verses in your own time as well. Even if you get a turn in the class, go over the verses again. It will consolidate any rules which you need to work on, anything that you can improve. You can do that after the class. Make sure to revise Surah Al-Kawthar as well. Today you have to practice it from your memory. So hopefully all of you have already memorized the entire surah. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, when you memorize it initially, it's not perfect. So you have to keep going over it again and again to make it perfect. Okay, so that's the aim today. You have to revise it from your memory, recall it from your memory, and revise it that way. And you can recite it to someone at home, parents or older siblings, or you can record yourself on the phone and then check it with the Quranic text to see if you made any mistakes that need to be corrected. If you are following the NL1 reading plan, then you are almost done with Juz 7. As you can see, you are only left with 1/10 of the Juz. Okay, so just a few pages. And if you keep following the plan, then inshallah you'll be done with Juz 7 soon. So let's recap the rule of Hamza Sakin. What is Hamza Sakin? It is either an alif or a Hamza with a sukun. Okay, that's the rule. In the rule of Hamza Sakin, in this category, there are two letters and they are alif and Hamza. The condition is that they will be carrying the sign of sukoon. Okay, in other words, they will be sakin. So this is what it will look like, alif sakin, and this is what Hamza sakin will look like. Okay, so the rule for Hamza sakin is that it should be read with a soft jerk. Okay, the emphasis is on soft because we don't want to mix the sound with the sound of ayn. Okay, the letter ayn also requires us to do a jerk, but that one is a strong jerking sound. Okay, for Hamza sakin, it's a soft jerking sound. Okay, now it is also very important that you don't confuse the alif sakin with the alif mad. Okay, and don't confuse the Hamza sakin with a waw mad. So as you can see here, we have alif, it is carrying sukoon, and the previous letter has a fatha. Okay, so if you remember the rule of mad letters, letters of elongation, you'll remember that alif needs to be blank for it to be considered an alif mad or alif of elongation. Okay, so if alif has a sukoon on top, then it comes under the Hamza sakin category and it requires us to do a soft jerk. So we'll read this as ta. Okay, ta. Similarly, when we have Hamza sakin, sometimes what happens is that it's written on top of a waw, the letter waw. But don't let it confuse you. The letter waw is just it's just acting as a chair. Okay, so the Hamza is sitting on top of the chair, and Hamza is the important alphabet. Okay, Hamza is the alphabet which we need to pronounce in this scenario. So we'll read this as to with a soft jerk at the end. To. Okay, so do not prolong the waw thinking that this is a waw mad. Okay, if there was no Hamza here, then it would be a waw mad. But because there is a Hamza, that's why this comes under the rule of Hamza sakin. Okay, so the waw, just treat it like a blank letter. So that's the recap for today's lesson. We'll now look at some examples. Let's start at the top. So there are quite a few examples of Hamza sakin in the text which we have covered so far in this course. So let's have a look at this example. Here we have a Hamza, and let me zoom in. So if you look closely, it doesn't have a sukoon, right? But when we pause here, because there is a sign of waqf, we can pause here if we are out of breath. So when we pause here, if you remember the rules of waqf, tanween of kasra changes into sukoon. So we read this as shay with a soft jerk at the end. Okay, shay. Okay, so let's have a look at this these next examples. Now this is when Hamza is put on top of a waw, but we are not going to pronounce the waw. We are going to pronounce the Hamza sakin with a soft jerk. So yu'minuna. Okay, in fact, here we have an example of a waw mad. Can you see the difference? They look different, right? The only difference is that there is a Hamza on this one and there is no Hamza on that one. Okay, so that's why this one we have to do a soft jerk on this one. And this one we have to prolong it for 2 seconds, treat it like a waw mad, waw of elongation. And this next example is exactly the same. Now again, here on this, in this case, we have a Hamza sakin. So we pronounce it with a soft jerk. جئتمونا. Again, we have a waw mad here and alif mad here, so we prolong it for 2 seconds. Another example of Hamza, which is not Sakin in its current state. Okay, right now it is not Sakin, it is carrying a Dhamma. But because we are going to pause here, the Dhamma always changes into a Sukoon. If you remember the rules of Waqf, Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma, they always change into Sukoon when we pause. So this will also become a Hamza Sakin. So it will require us to do a soft jerk. Shuraka. Okay, so just make sure to do a soft jerk at the end. So let's practice a few examples together now. GB3125, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Do you understand today's rule? The rule of Hamza Sakin?
Yeah, understand it a bit.
Okay, so just remember, if we have a Hamza with a Sukoon, we have to do a soft jerk. How would you read this word?
Tufa aku tufa.
Okay, so you did a jerking sound in the first, this highlighted place, which is good. You also did a jerking sound here, which is not right, because as you can see, there is no Hamza on this one. This is just a waw mad, okay? And because the previous letter has a Dhamma, we have to treat this waw mad, we have to prolong this waw mad for 2 seconds. So, tu'fakuna. And because we are pausing, tu'fakun. Okay, let's have a look at another example. So again, this is the same one. We have a Hamza Sakin. Yu'minun. Okay, the waw is just serving as a chair. Hamza is sitting on the chair, so Hamza is more important. Okay, waw, treat it like a blank letter, silent letter. Okay. Some more examples. Again, we have a Hamza Sakin. It's sitting on a blank waw. Okay, here we go. So this time, we don't have a Hamza Sakin. We have a Alif Sakin. Okay, but remember, the rule is the same. In the rule of Hamza Sakin, in this category, we have 2 letters, which is Hamza itself and Alif. When these 2 letters are Sakin, we have to pronounce them with a soft jerk. Okay, so let's pick another student. GB3119. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Do you understand today's lesson all right?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So how would you read this word?
Ta'kulu.
Very good. Almost perfect. The jerking sound, it doesn't have to be very strong. Ta'kulu.
Ta'kulu.
Okay, jazakallah. Just stay with us, okay? How would you read this one? It's exactly the same word.
Wala ta'kulu.
Excellent, well done. And how would you read this one?
Nu'ta.
Very good. And this one?
Nu'mina.
Excellent. Let's see. Okay, here we go. How would you read this one? Now, this is not a Hamza Sakin, but do you know what will happen?
Because it's at the end of that part of the Quran, then the fatha, the kasra, we change into a sukoon.
That's right. And it will become a Hamza Sakin. So how would you read it?
Bisama.
Excellent. Well done. So that's it. We are going to breakout rooms now where we will practice Surah Al-An'am, verse 99 to verse 102.